Humans have always taken support from natural resources that this earth provides to survive and evolve. If these natural resources and habitats did not exist, our race would have perished a long time ago.
One of these gifts that our planet has given us are forests. The bond between humans and forests is undefinable. Although, in the past century, the resources provided by the forest have been exploited too much, resulting in reduction of plant life on Earth.
Forests till date play a huge role in our lives, whether it's using various categories of wood to create different daily life objects or to help sustain wildlife on this planet. Forests continue to shower us with their resources.
As time is progressing and humans are explosively increasing in numbers, our demands have started to gain a sudden rise. Regardless of the fact that how abundant forests are on this planet, a day will surely come when all the forests will disappear from the face of the earth. And the bitter truth is that the day does not look so far away.
In order to truly understand the forests and the problems related to them, we must move in a chronological order. Let's first try and understand how forests help us in our daily lives.
With little help from the sun and a process called photosynthesis, trees are able to provide us and other animals with fresh air. They absorb the carbon dioxide that we breathe out and transform it into clean oxygen.
It's insects in the leaf litter, a bird in a tree, or a squirrel jumping from branch to branch. You're bound to see some sort of animal when you visit a forest. That's because 2/3 of all the animal species in Canada call forests home.
In cities, trees that are grown close to buildings help keep the indoors cool by blocking the hot sun from streaming into windows, reducing the need for air conditioners. Studies have also shown that forests help encourage rainfall.
Like I said earlier, trees help absorb the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. And when you have a whole bunch of trees, their carbon dioxide absorbing power gets even more strong. Forests are so good at absorbing carbon dioxide that they're the second largest carbon sink in the world, meaning that they absorb more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than they actually release.
They are great at protecting the soil because their leaves and branches catch raindrops as they fall, lowering the amount of rainfall that hits the ground at the same time. This prevents the soil from flooding and washing away.
This list is obviously a very small collection of how much the forests have given to our species. And yet, the way we have treated our forests has always been extremely harsh. All this has led to loss of greenery in forests at a very fast pace. In order to understand what we can do for the forests, we first need to understand the problems that our forests have to face. In general, human activities tend to affect any of the three major aspects of forests.
Total area of forest remaining, many of man's activity remove forest cover, either temporarily or permanently. Some forest types may disappear locally, and reduction in the total amount of habitat is a significant pressure on some forest species that can lead to local extinction.
Configuration of remaining forest cover. Reduction in forest area is often accompanied by division of remaining forest cover into fragments rather than continuous blocks. Forest biodiversity is affected by the consequent local reduction in habitat areas, by the exposure of forest edges to new environmental and biotic influences, and by isolation from other forest areas.
Structure and composition of the remaining forests would be some human activities that alter the canopy structure or focus disproportionately on particular species or specific components of their population.
Problems don't end here. Almost every activity performed by humans that harm the environment end up causing a certain amount of damage to a forest life. The wildlife that resides in these forests lost their homes and find it extremely difficult to survive. This forces them to enter the territories of human civilization.
Therefore, only one question remains. Nothing lasts forever. No such thing in the past has ever been created that has the potential to last forever, and no such thing can be created in the future. So how can we save our forests from completely getting destroyed even before it's their time to go?
8,000 years ago, large areas of the world were covered with ancient forest. As we started to farm, we cut them down for firewood to build houses and then make ships. and charcoal for our growing industries. Today, as the world's demand for timber and paper continues to grow, almost 80% of the original ancient forests have been lodged or degraded, and we are losing an additional 13 million hectares a year, which is the area of Greece. As we lose the forest, we also lose the habitat for species, including human tribes. We must do whatever we can to protect the remaining ancient forests, both worldwide and in Canada.
In Switzerland, they banned clear-cut logging centuries ago when they recognized how it destroyed the soil. In Canada, however, clear-cutting is still practiced quite widely. In 73 countries around the world, including Canada, a new standard of socially responsible, ecologically sensitive forestry is being embraced by some companies, landowners, and First Nations that protect the forest while their trees are being harvested, and is certified by the Forest Steward Council. With good ecoforestry, the forest will yield more timber of high commercial value over the long term while protecting the forest ecosystem.
Basically, Canada has a roadmap which can hopefully guide our country's forestry policies, research and logging practices towards progressive ecosystem-based forest management. It is called the National Forest Strategy, and it is developed in the true Canadian style with inputs from many stakeholders including the environmental groups, the provinces and even the First Nations. Every 5 years it is updated and renewed. Also, it has a brand new best practices section, most of which happen to have been FSC certified.
If you buy it, they will log. The more you buy, the more they log. To reduce the demand, we can avoid using paper napkins, plates, cups, and bags. We can buy paper made from 100% post-consumer recycled paper or from hemp, and be sure to recycle all our waste paper. We can try to buy FSC certified wood when we need timber or seek out recycled lumber from house deconstructions. We can remember that wood and paper are not just stuff, they are made from living fabric of our planet, home to a myriad creatures. 11% of lumber that is cut each year in the US is used to make 400 million wooden pallets that end up in bonfires or in landfills. That much timber could build 300,000 houses. We should ban all wood waste from our landfills and encourage the careful deconstruction of unwanted houses instead of demolition.
For every mahogany tree in the tropics that is found and illegally cut down, a bulldozer smashes its way through 60 other trees, all for that lovely shine that looks so good on the furniture when the guests come to visit. Greenpeace estimates that 90% of the timber produced in the Amazon is of illegal origin, fueled by bribes, corruption, and intimidation. The World Bank estimates that the global trade in illegal timber is worth $15 billion a year, with the US as the largest consumer, spending $3.8 billion a year. One of the solutions is to develop strong federal legislation banning its import to discourage illegal lodging in forest areas where timber harvesting is strictly prohibited.
So, as we bring this to a conclusion, the only message that we depart you with is that to walk with nature is to witness 1,000 miracles. Millions of miracles are yet to be seen, so conserving the forests is a must.